Welcome to The Haunted Beard, everybody. My name is Jake. Thank you again for joining me. Today, I want to give you my review for MADS. This is a French horror film, a Shudder Original that is now available to watch. I've got some thoughts. Let's do it. MADS tells the story of a teenager by the name of Roman who is heading home for a night of partying, and on his way he picks up an injured woman on the side of the road, and that chance encounter causes the night's events to take a very unpredictable, dark, and bloody direction. While I wasn't completely blown away with MADS, I did find quite a bit to appreciate. First and foremost is the camera work. This is a film that is told in real time with one continuous shot. And from what I could tell, there are no hidden edits. There's no digital computer-generated fakery here. From what I was able to see, this is genuinely a one-shot film. So the camera work here is pretty incredible in how effectively they're able to kind of pull off this concept. I think they do a pretty good job. The camera work here has to be on point, and it is. It goes anywhere and everywhere and all over the place, from inside and outside to on cars and off of cars, up through a window, in elevators and out of elevators, upstairs, downstairs, you name it. The camera work here is pretty incredible. And while this film isn't technically a found footage movie, the camera work here and how it's presented give it a bit of a found footage feel. And I think it's pretty effective. It gives it this very sort of immersive, authentic type thing, again, playing out in real time. And the film just has a very sort of raw, energetic... Hello? Hi. Hi.
Hi!
Okay, I need you to sit down.
Why?
Well, because you can't be in the video. And the film overall just has a very raw sort of energy to it. It's this, handheld camera work, and it captures all just the kind of clunky, awkward rawness of real life and that real-time sort of thing, which I think works pretty well. There's some overlapping dialogue. People are talking over one another. The film does this cool thing where it kind of works in some of the sound design to put you in the headspace of one of the main characters and kind of help you experience what he is going through. And I have to talk about the performances in this film because I think they're pretty great, especially the performances from the two main girls, Julia and Anna. And again, it all speaks to really selling this concept. Everything with it being one continuous tracking shot has to be exactly on point. Their performances can't be off even for a second. They have to sell it every single second and every single minute. And I think they do a pretty effective job overall. There's a scene between two of them later on in the movie where they are on this like little moped bike driving through the streets that is just a really good scene and a really fun time. And it's just kind of this crazy, intense moment. But that's kind of a good picture of the movie. It's just this kind of wild, crazy ride. And I think, again, the way it's presented and especially the performances by the main actors, I think for the most part, they do a pretty good job selling the overall experience. And my biggest criticism with the film has to do with the overall story. And part of what makes the film so good and effective, like the real-time presentation, also lends a little bit to the film's downfall when it comes to the story. There's only so much you can do in terms of plot. And so the plot here is very simple and stripped down and bare. Once you figure out what happens, once the horror kind of clicks in, you're kind of just watching everything unfold from there, which is fine. I just wish there was a way to get a little bit more of a story structure, to have a little bit more kind of unpredictability or twists and turns along the way sort of thing. And so the plot is a little bit on the weaker side. And so because there's not a whole lot of story here, there are some moments where I feel like this concept, it wears a little bit thin. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. And, how much do you have here to continually sort of thrust the story forward? Now, luckily, this movie only clocks in at about 85 minutes, so it is fairly fast-paced and moves fairly briskly, but again, there's not a whole lot here to work with in terms of story, and a little bit of that concept feels thin. And I also wish we would have maybe gotten a little bit more of some of the blood and carnage that develops out of the situation as it all unfolds, which again is a bit of a downfall of that real-time thing, to where you can't lean into that super heavily, because what's possible without being able to cut away to a different shot. And so, like I said, the film's greatest strength also lends to some of its weaknesses as well. So overall, though, this is film that I'm still more on the positive side. I did enjoy myself for the most part. I think it is worth a watch if this sounds interesting to you. I'm close to a 7. I think I'm going to be like a 6.5 out of 10 for MADS. And yeah, there's definitely some stuff I appreciate about it, but there's also some stuff that left a little bit to be desired. But I would still recommend it. I had a pretty good time with it, though, overall. So those are my thoughts. Hit me up down below. Like always, would be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. That's all I got for you today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you got anything out of this video, I just have one question for you.
Do you want to get haunted by the beard?